I'm supposed to share with you what's on my mind. And tonight I am supposed to share with you, which I will for a moment or two, because it's also a new member Shabbat, what makes Reconstructionism special. I suspect some of you may have actually heard some of those jokes that are told about Reconstructionism. There actually are Reconstructionist jokes. That's in and of itself an interesting idea. Let's see, the most famous one is probably that Reconstructionist version of the Shema is Shema Yisrael, I don't know Eloheinu, I don't know Echad. See, got a laugh. I knew it was funny. And then there's my wife's favorite line, which is that nobody understands what Reconstructionism really is. Even the anti-Semites are confused. They burnt a question mark on our lawn. So let me tell you just for a moment what I think it means to be a religious Reconstructionist. I must have had 1,000 conversations in my rabbinic life that have begun with the words, I'm not really very religious, rabbi, ... And then people usually go on to tell me about themselves or describe an attitude toward life which to me is exactly what I think being religious is really all about. It's just that they don't associate what they do with being religious because they think being religious has to do with observing traditional rituals and how often you come to synagogue. Not that I'm discouraging you from coming to synagogue, of course, or that having a traditional belief in God as that supernatural being that is in fact determining what's going on in each of our lives every day, answering prayers and intervening in our daily lives. But that's really not what I mean when I think of being religious. For me, being religious as a modern Reconstructionist Jew refers to an attitude about life, an approach to the world and relationships that validates the highest and the noblest and the loftiest ideas and ideals of the Jewish people, and the process whereby one gives those ideals a voice in our everyday lives. As I use the term being religious, it means not observing traditionally ritual, although there's nothing wrong with observing traditional ritual, but it's rather seeing the world as filled with the opportunity to discover the blessings and the love and the caring and the compassion and the justice and the righteousness that is in the world. In fact, I believe that this understanding of religious refers to most people who are really members of our community of KI. And I see it every day in the lives of those who I call Jews by association in our congregation, all of those who were married or partnered to someone who was Jewish and who are here participating in the Jewish community as part of our family. A Reconstructionist understanding of the term religious indeed refers to all those who search for a higher sense of meaning in life and purpose in life. Those who believe that human beings are fundamentally created good, endowed with the ability to choose life and joy, wholeness and peace as participants in a caring community. When I see people who, as I often say, recognize that the most important things in life aren't things at all, when I see parents who patiently are teaching their children how to distinguish right from wrong, or good from bad, or caring from neglect, sensitivity from callousness, I see individuals who are exactly my definition of religious, even if they wouldn't apply the same terms to themselves. I think of something Ralph Waldo Emerson famously once said. He said that if the sunset occurred only once every 10 years, we would be so awed by it that it would certainly appear to be nothing less than a miracle. But since it happens every day, we don't even notice. And that's really what our lives are about. We walk sightless through miracles every single day. The miracles that begin with the fact that we have this remarkable, intricate body that mostly works for most of us most of the time. And most of us only notice our bodies, in fact, when something doesn't work. And the rest of the time, we just take it for granted. These billions of cells and things are working in harmony and keeping us moving and living and breathing, and the blood moving in our veins. And that's one of the greatest miracles. It's the everyday that we don't notice, along with the powerful miracle of love and family and relationships that we so often take for granted when we have them. As Reconstructionist, religion itself, religious, I think is a broad category. Includes the striving to make sense out of the difficult moments of life and the struggle to pass on our values that will move the world closer to our own collective dreams. Being religious is not about rituals and services and ceremonies and holidays and customs that we celebrate as much as an all-encompassing approach to life, to people, to family, to relationships, and to a future that is available to us if we create it to be in the image of the world that we dream about. Rabbi Ira Eisenstein, who a few of us knew, the architect of Reconstructionist movement, the son-in-law of Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan, who was the founder of Reconstructionism. He was also the founding president of the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College, where Rabbi Bernstein is a graduate. He wrote the following in 1982 about what he considered to be the best features of Reconstructionism. He said, what makes Reconstructionism stand out is the following: intellectual integrity, talking sense to people, openness, lack of ecclesiastical pomposity. He never met me, that's why. Respect for the intelligence of the laity, the fact that the rabbi does not have to seem infallible. I'm not going to talk about that. Equality of women, an affirmative attitude towards life, stress on the arts, and a willingness to experiment. I think maybe the simplest way I know to capture what makes Reconstructionism and KI as a Reconstructionist congregation special is the following. Kehillat Israel believes in the equality of men and women, sees God as the power that inspires us to strive for human fulfillment as loving and caring people, and acknowledges both the rational foundation of the universe and the spirituality inherent in all human life. We believe that Judaism is an evolving religious civilization that reflects peoplehood and community, history, art, and ethics. Our doors are open to all, gay and straight, same faith, interfaith. We reject the idea that Jews were chosen by a divine being and instead recognize that every people and every culture has its own unique and valuable contribution to make to the progress of humanity. We discover God, as I said, in the everyday miracles of our lives, and we use that experience of godliness to help bring meaning into the world. What makes Reconstructionism special to me is also our openness to innovation and change. After all, it was Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan, Reconstructionism's founder, who invented bat mitzvah. See, if you were a girl, it would have worked better for this week. I know, there's nothing you can do about that right now. But he invented bat mitzvah in 1922 with his own daughter Judith. It was the Jewish Reconstructionist Federation that was the first movement back in 1968 to adopt the principle of patrilineal descent, whereby a child is considered fully Jewish if either parent is Jewish, whether mother or father, followed by the Reform movement right on our heels some 15 years later in 1983. It was the Reconstructionist movement through the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College that first openly accepted gay and lesbian students to study for the rabbinate, and the Reconstructionist movement that has led the Jewish world by creating a whole series of remarkable centers. Kolot, the Center for Jewish Women's and Gender Studies 13 years ago. Ritualwell.org, a unique resource of creative Jewish rituals that transcends all movements and streams of Jewish life. And the RRC is also the birthplace of the Center for Jewish Ethics and Hidur, the Center for Judaism and Aging. It's what makes us unique, a cutting-edge stream of Jewish life. I was sharing the story today with a few people about that child who comes home from his first day at school and his mother asks, "What did you learn?" And the child responds, obviously not enough because they want me to come back tomorrow. Well, to me, being a Reconstructionist means to constantly say not enough. Not enough learning, not enough innovation, not enough wrestling with the fundamental questions of life, not enough God wrestling, not enough reaching out to those who have in the past felt left out of the Jewish mainstream, denied their own authentic Jewish identity, whether because of who they love or because of who they are. And this and more, to me, is what makes Reconstructionism special and KI a special place to belong.